Now we are proceeding to learn methods to obtain the coherent sources. What are coherent sources that we have seen? So the two sources which have same frequency, the phase difference between them is equal to 0 or constant. Such a sources they are called as coherent sources. Now in Young's double slit we have used two real sources or two real coherent sources, but here we are going to obtain two virtual coherent sources. On this article, a question can be asked: explain methods to obtain virtual coherent sources. Now these virtual coherent sources that can be obtained by two methods. One is Lloyd's mirror and second is Fresnel's by prism. Of course, I am not writing something. You just concentrate on this Lloyd's mirror. The remaining part you can take it from the book. Now, how the virtual sources are going to form, let us see. See, this is the Lloyd's mirror. Actually, it consists two mirrors. First mirror, it is in a horizontal plane, and another mirror which is in a vertical or perpendicular to it. A real source of light is maintained at a certain position. Now, from this real source, some rays are coming out. This is one of the ray, second ray, third ray. Now these three rays, they are going to touch on this vertical mirror. But these three rays, this ray, this ray, this ray, all of these are incident rays. They are going to reflect from this surface and they are falling on the vertical mirror. Again, these rays, they are incident on this vertical mirror, but they are reflected same way. Now, how this is possible? See here, when these light rays, they are incident, they grazes the plane mirror. Grazing, you know. When the see here, suppose this is the surface of the water and a ray of light, it is incident on the surface, it is reflected by making very small angle, nearly it moves parallel to the surface of water. At the time of sunrise and at the time of sunset, if you see the water of a lake or water of the sea, then you will find that the total water, it is reddish. Who is making this light reddish? This is actually natural phenomenon and it occurs due to this grazing. What happens? This rain light coming from the sun, it is falling on the surface. After reflection, that light moves close to the water surface. Some of the rays, they are moving along the surface. Which rays they are moving along the surface? This phenomenon, it is called as a grazing. It is called as a grazing. And here, the light rays which are grazing, see here, they are incident, they are grazing, and after reflection again they are coming back. All these rays, they are getting concentrated at a point and it forms a virtual source. In this way, by using Lloyd's mirror, we can obtain the two coherent sources, and these two coherent sources that can be used for interference of light. Now, these two sources of light, they are in a phase and their frequency is same, and they are going to form a interference pattern as like in Young's modulus. The another method to obtain the virtual coherent sources, actually they are not actual, they are not real, they are virtual, and here these virtual coherent sources that can be obtained by using Fresnel's biprism. What is a Fresnel's biprism? See here, it is the combination of two prisms. When two prisms they are coalesced to form a single prism, or they are joined to form a single prism such a way that their refracting edge is equal to 180 degree, or refracting angle it is 180 degree, 179 degree 30 minutes to 180 degree, that is called as a biprism. Bi means two. When two prisms they are formed or they are joined to form a single prism such a way that its refracting angle is about 180 degree or 179 degree 30 minutes to 180 degree, that is called as a biprism, like this. Now mind well here, these are the two prisms. This is one prism, this is another prism. Their bases are joined so that it forms two prisms, single prism, and such a prism whose refracting angle, this is the refracting angle or angle of refraction, it is in between 179 degree 30 minutes to 180 degree. Such a prism that is called as a biprism, and this experiment it was invented by Fresnel, or Fresnel has obtained the two virtual sources of light. Now here this is an experimental setup to obtain the interference pattern. See here, this is the monochromatic light. This is the source of monochromatic light, and a biprism it is kept a certain distance away from this source, and here the screen is kept. Of course, this distance is very small. This distance it is very large. Next, this biprism it is kept actually on optical bench. All these instruments they are kept on an optical instrument such a way that the slit is, or the refracting edge of this biprism it is parallel to the slit, and it is being made parallel by rotating this biprism stand. Now when the refracting edge of this biprism it is parallel to the slit, we are getting a interference pattern on the screen. Just see, we have said that to obtain any interference pattern it requires at least two sources of light. Now by this biprism the two sources of light S1 and S2 are obtained. Look at here, these light rays they are traveling, they are falling on this biprism or upper part of this biprism, these three rays, they are incident on lower part of the biprism. Next, after refraction, these rays are traveling in another medium. There is a refraction by prism and these rays, they are traveling in another medium. Next, at the same time, these rays, they are reflected back. Here, these are reflected rays, they are going to converge at a single point. That is what source 1. Here again, these rays are traveling in backward direction after reflection and they are converging at a certain point, that is S2 source. So this S1 source and S2 source, they are virtual sources. And when through the eyepiece or through by the eye, the interference pattern it is observed, then it seems that this interference pattern it is obtained or it is being formed due to these two sources of light. Now here this is only real source. From this real source, these two virtual sources are being obtained. Now these two sources, they are in phase. Their frequency is same. They are in same phase. Their frequency is same, and that's why these are two coherent sources, but these are two virtual sources. And this way, the Fresnel he has obtained by using a biprism arrangement the two virtual sources or two coherent sources. Next, this biprism that can be used to obtain the interference pattern. Since these two sources, they are coherent, we can obtain a very good and very fine interference pattern so that it may be a steady interference pattern. With this, we will proceed for further. Optical path. Second article, it is optical path. On this, a question can be asked. Question: describe optical path. Mind well here, the phase of light wave having angular frequency omega and a wave vector k traveling in vacuum along x direction is given by kx minus omega t. Let omega angular frequency, v linear velocity, therefore this k equal to omega upon v. What is k? K is a wave vector. And suppose that this wave vector it is moving along x direction, therefore the phase of wave vector is equal to kx minus omega t. Kx minus omega t, where k equal to omega upon v. Next, if the light wave travels the distance delta x, delta x is the distance. We have said that light wave it is traveling along x-axis, and along x-axis it travels very small distance delta x. Then the phase angle change in a phase delta phi is equal to k times delta x. Now here this k is equal to omega upon v, and therefore this delta phi equal to omega into delta x upon v. Mind well, if light is traveling in vacuum, this v can be replaced by c, or I'll write here in a vacuum. This delta phi or change in phase will be equal to omega into delta x upon c, where v speed of light in a medium and c speed of light in vacuum. Now, if we consider a light wave, it is traveling. Suppose that light it travels in a vacuum. Therefore, vacuum of wave vector k dash and path and through the distance delta x dash. From this information we can write this k dash equal to omega upon v, k dash equal to omega upon v, which is equal to omega upon c by n, where n frequency of light. And therefore, this will be equal to n omega upon c. And therefore, the change in phase delta phi dash equal to k dash time delta x. Here we will consider the same path and therefore k dash times delta x, which is equal to n times omega upon c into delta x. Omega n omega into delta x upon c, which is also equal to now k dash into delta x. Here omega into omega upon c, omega into delta x dash upon c. Therefore, this delta x dash, it is equal to n times delta x. Look at this point. Delta x, it is the distance travelled by light wave in a medium. Delta x dash, it is the distance travelled by the light wave in a vacuum, and therefore the relation of path difference or path length in vacuum and medium, it will be delta x dash equal to n times delta x, where this n is the frequency. See here, from this relation we can say that the path length in the medium and the path length in the vacuum, they are related with this equation. That is, path length in the vacuum is frequency times path length in medium. So this gives the relation between these two quantities, that is path length in a vacuum and path length in a medium, or this path length in a vacuum is equal to n times the path length in medium, and these two are equivalent because they are equal. If optical path in a medium travels in time t, let t is time taken by the light to travel in the vacuum, as well as time taken by the light to travel in medium, then we write time equal to distance upon time. Time equal to distance upon velocity. So, t equal to b in medium upon d V in medium, which is also equal to D in vacuum upon V in vacuum. Next, optical path. Optical path. D in vacuum will be equal to optical path D in vacuum will be equal to V in vacuum upon V in medium into D in vacuum equal to V in vacuum upon V in medium into D in medium. And this way, the optical path, that is the distance in vacuum, we can calculate by using this formula. That is nothing but n times D in vacuum, that is optical path length, it is equal to n into D in medium. Where n is frequency. Frequency, it is defined ratio of velocity of light in vacuum upon velocity of light in the medium. And therefore, this equation leads to or optical path length leads to therefore optical path difference that is equal to D in bracket ND minus T, that is equal to D in bracket N minus 1. So this is optical path difference. D is path, N is frequency. Not only this, we have seen this experiment, that is, these are two slits and from here the light is traveling. This is S1, S2. These are two sources. Light is traveling up to the point P. Now, if we place a glass plate, if T is the thickness of glass plate, and N is a frequency, then the shift of fringe pattern will be equal to N times N minus 1 into T. Now I am going to explain this. See here, This is S1P distance, or this is the ray which is traveling along S1P distance. Now in this part, suppose a glass plate of thickness T it is placed. Then what will happen? This fringe pattern it will be shifted at a certain point P dash. But the width of the fringes or width of the two fringes or the fringe width or band width it will be same. Here the bandwidth or fringe width that will remain same. Only the total fringe pattern it will be get shifted in upward direction. At the same time, instead of this, here suppose that here the glass plate it will be it is kept. Now this glass plate it is in the path of S2P ray, and therefore this fringe pattern it will shift down, and that shift it is given that n minus 1 into t, or it will shift by the factor n minus 1 into t. This n minus 1 it is also called as a refractivity of glass plate, and because of that it is going to shift. Again see here, mind well, the fringe width that remains same.